Millions of French motorists fall into financial traps every year, orchestrated by unscrupulous garages that turn car maintenance into a veritable cash machine. The industry prefers to remain silent about these questionable practices because they represent billions of euros in annual revenue generated by completely unnecessary repairs. An experienced mechanic from the Paris region revealed to me the 15 most common scams in France, and when you discover the first one on this list, you'll immediately want to check your last workshop bill. Scam number 8 is so common that 90% of vehicle owners have been victims without even realizing it. We're talking about considerable sums of money leaving your wallet every year, so buckle up. 15th scam, the premature automatic transmission fluid change. This scam is particularly insidious because it can irreparably damage your transmission while still charging you for the service. Listen to me carefully. If your automatic gearbox is working correctly, a forced flush can be as dangerous as surgery on a perfectly healthy patient. Why this comparison? Because that seemingly dirty fluid is actually protecting worn components that have found their balance. Here's their perverse method. They show you the transmission fluid on a white cloth, declaring, "Look at this suspicious color." However, transmission fluid naturally takes on a dark tint after the first 80,000 kilometers. This is perfectly normal. An honest technician in Lyon told me he'd seen transmissions working flawlessly for years that failed less than 1,000 kilometers after a preventive flush costing 300 euros. A simple coincidence? Absolutely not. The golden rule remains simple. If your gears shift smoothly, don't touch the fluid. But be careful. If your vehicle has more than 150,000 kilometers on it and has never had a fluid change, do not do it now, as you risk creating malfunctions. It's better to preserve a system that works. 14th scam, the excessive sale of air filters. Here's one of my favorite scams to expose. The show of the clogged air filter is like a well-rehearsed theatrical performance designed to empty your bank account. The script is always the same. The mechanic appears with your air filter, theatrically bangs it against the floor, and a cloud of dust escapes as if from a demolition. "Look at this, your engine can't breathe, it needs to be replaced urgently." But wait, here's the trap. An air filter can look in sorry shape while still maintaining perfect efficiency. In fact, slightly dirty filters are better at filtering than new ones because the accumulated particles help capture even more impurities. What they'll charge you is pure fraud. A filter that costs 5 euros in any parts store will be sold to you for 30 to 40 euros, plus 20 euros for labor for a 2-minute job. Do you want to know the truth? Most air filters last between 20,000 and 30,000 kilometers, but they try to get you to change them every 5,000 kilometers. 13th scam, psychological blackmail over brakes. This is the scam that makes me the angriest. They tell you, "Sir, your brakes are in critical condition. You can't drive like this, you risk causing a fatal accident." Do you know what they do next? They show you completely worn out brake pads, except these parts come from another vehicle while yours are in perfect condition. It's the most despicable manipulation because it plays on your fear and your safety. Their favorite tactic is to take you to the lift to point out every micro scratch on the disc, claiming, "See how dangerous this is?" Yet these discs can have normal scratches for years without posing any problem whatsoever. A client from Marseille told me he was quoted for a complete brake replacement, discs, hoses, and even the supposedly contaminated fluid. Total for the scam, 1,200 euros. What did he do? He consulted a second garage, which confirmed his brakes were still at 80% life. Here's the truth. If your vehicle brakes normally without suspicious noises or vibrations, your brakes are fine. 12th scam, engine decarbonizing services. Have you ever been offered a 200 euro decarbonizing service supposed to improve performance? It's a monumental scam. They tell you that you need to clean the inside of the engine to eliminate carbon deposits and other residues, but here's the truth they hide. These aggressive chemical products can damage seals and membranes that have been working perfectly for years. The psychological trap is diabolical. They drain your oil, show you its dark color, and persuade you of the need for this special treatment. But listen closely. Oil always turns a dark shade after circulating in the engine. That's exactly its job. An automotive engineer from Toulouse confided in me that these cleanings can cause oil leaks on engines that never had problems before. Why? Because the solvents attack the rubber seals that had perfectly adapted to their function. The reality is brutal. If you follow the manufacturer's recommended oil change intervals, you will never need a decarbonizing service. It's wasted money that can also create costly problems. 11th scam, unnecessary premium oil changes. Have you ever gone in for a basic oil change and left paying triple the price? Welcome to the club of superfluous high-end oil victims. Here's the truth they conceal from you. Your 2005 Peugeot 206 doesn't need premium synthetic oil at €60, when mineral oil at €20 does the exact same job. The psychological trap is formidable. They tell you your engine deserves the best, while showing you elegant bottles with golden labels. Yet, both oils meet the exact same specifications required by your maintenance booklet. I've seen mechanics charge €120 for aviation-grade oil, when the vehicle's manual clearly recommends a conventional 5W30 oil. Do you know the real difference in terms of protection? Strictly none. A technician with 15 years of experience in Nantes admitted to me that he had taken apart engines with 200,000 kilometers on them running on basic oil, and they were in perfect condition. Premium oil only enriches the garage. 10th scam, unnecessary cooling system flushes. Here's a scam that makes my blood boil. They claim you must perform a system flush immediately or risk overheating and engine explosion. The reality is that modern coolant can last up to 160,000 kilometers without difficulty. But they show you the fluid declaring it's losing its properties when it's working perfectly fine. Do you know their most dishonest trick? They use a flushing machine charging €250 when a simple drain and refill of the system would only cost €30 in supplies. They make you pay 8 times more for the same result. A technician from Bordeaux confessed to me that the majority of vehicles arriving with cloudy coolant only need a top-up, not a complete flush, but that doesn't generate profit. The worst part is that some aggressive flushes can deteriorate the radiator seals and create leaks. So you come back a month later with real cooling problems that they themselves caused. 9th scam, the cabin filter panic. This scam exasperates me because it's totally unnecessary, and they present it as a health emergency. They claim, your cabin filter is dangerously clogged, it's harmful to your health and your family's. Then, they show you a filter that looks like it came out of an industrial vacuum cleaner and charge you €60 to replace it. Here's the truth they hide. This filter costs a maximum of €15 in any parts store, and replacing it literally takes 3 minutes. It's easier than changing a light bulb at home. The most ridiculous part is that they make you believe your family will get sick if you don't change it immediately. Do you know what really happens if you don't change this filter? Absolutely nothing serious. You simply reduce the efficiency of your air conditioning a bit. A dirty filter won't kill you, won't damage your engine, and certainly doesn't need to be changed every 6 months as they claim. Most can function perfectly for a full year without any issue. 8th scam, the premature timing belt replacement. Here is one of the most expensive and terrifying scams of all. They tell you that your timing belt is cracked and your engine will self-destruct if you don't change it on the spot. Do you know how much they charge you for this? Between €1,500 and €3,000, because it's a complex job requiring the disassembly of half the engine. But here's the secret they want to hide. Most timing belts are designed to last between 160,000 and 200,000 kilometers. If your vehicle has lower mileage, they are probably lying. Furthermore, a belt with superficial cracks can continue to function for years. The most dishonest trick is to show you an old belt from another vehicle, claiming it's yours. A client in Paris discovered this deception by demanding his faulty belt back. It came from a completely different model. Here's the countermove. Always ask to see exactly where the problem is on your belt, take pictures, and consult your maintenance booklet to know the recommended replacement mileage. If you've appreciated these revelations so far, subscribe now and hit the notification bell because this information can save you thousands of euros. Your support significantly strengthens this channel's impact in the fight against these dishonest practices. 7th scam, the unnecessary power steering fluid change. Get ready to be angry because this scam is so widespread you've probably already been a victim without even realizing it. The superfluous replacement of power steering fluid is one of the most lucrative scams for workshops because the profit margin is absolutely scandalous. Here's their master technique. They open the hood, pull out the power steering dipstick and declare, "Look sir, this fluid is black and dirty. It could damage your steering pump, which costs €1,000 to replace." But the reality is that power steering fluid can easily last between 100,000 and 150,000 kilometers without any problem. That dark color is perfectly normal after a few years of use. An honest mechanic from Nice explained the most disgusting trick to me. Some garages intentionally contaminate the fluid with a bit of black oil to make it look worse than it really is. They literally manufacture the evidence of the problem right before your eyes. They charge you between 120 and 250 euros for a 30-minute service your car doesn't need. But here's the kicker: by changing the fluid unnecessarily, they can introduce air into the system, causing real noises and malfunctions that didn't exist before. Do you know the definitive test to see if you don't need to change the fluid? If your steering turns smoothly without strange noises, the fluid is doing its job perfectly, regardless of its color. The next time a mechanic tells you this, ask them if there are any noises in the steering, if it feels heavy when turning. If the answer is no, simply walk away, because they are setting you up for a robbery. Sixth scam: the frequent replacement of spark plugs. Imagine this situation. You take your car to the garage because you notice it doesn't start as quickly as it used to. The mechanic lifts the hood, examines it with a worried look, and delivers the blow. Your spark plugs are faulty, they all need to be changed, and I recommend you do it every 20,000 kilometers. Does that sound familiar? Be wary, because there's something fishy going on. The reality is that most modern spark plugs are designed to last between 80,000 and 120,000 kilometers, depending on the model and type of ignition system in your vehicle. But some workshops take advantage of the customer's ignorance to inflate the bill with this maintenance service, which isn't so routine in reality. The worst part is they sell it to you as an essential preventive measure when they often don't even perform a real check. They simply assume or claim they are already worn out. It's like replacing tires on principle without checking if they are actually bald. The trick is simple. They tell you the engine is losing power, consuming more fuel, vibrating slightly, and all of this can seem logical if you don't know any better. But the truth is, these symptoms can come from 1,000 other causes and not necessarily the spark plugs. Many dishonest mechanics play on this fear. They show you a dirty spark plug that might not even be yours and get it into your head that it's urgent to change them. And of course, with that, they also charge for labor, diagnosis, and an inflated price for each part. The key to avoiding this trap: consult your car's maintenance booklet and learn the real recommended intervals. Because if you fall for this scam once, they'll repeat it at every visit. And when you add up all that wasted money, you realize you could have used it for something truly important for your vehicle. Fifth scam: bait and switch pricing. Have you ever seen a promotion for an oil change at a ridiculously low price and thought, this is my lucky day? Hold on, because this could be one of the most common traps in garages. The bait and switch strategy: they lure you in with an irresistible offer, something like, oil change for only 10 euros. It sounds too good to be true, and it is. Once your vehicle is in the workshop, problems magically appear. The filter isn't standard, and you need a high-end one. The offered oil is too basic for your engine, or the drain plug is damaged and must be changed urgently. Result: that 10 euro service ends up costing 80 euros or more. And if you refuse, watch out. Some mechanics even apply pressure with phrases like, if you don't do this, the engine could blow at any moment. The worst part is that many people, out of fear or ignorance, accept without questioning the master stroke. They know that by simply getting you into the workshop, they have a golden opportunity to sell you unnecessary services. That's why you should never be guided solely by the lowest price. Do your research first, check reviews, ask exactly what the offer includes, and demand a detailed quote before authorizing any additional work. A good practice is to note what type of oil your car requires and which parts it really needs. Remember, the workshop is not a casino. You're not betting on the luck of finding a good mechanic. You are entrusting your safety and your money to someone, so it's better to stay vigilant, as this type of scam continues to catch thousands of people every day. Fourth scam: selling used parts as new. Did you know that one of the most despicable scams from some mechanics is to install used parts in your car while charging you as if they were brand new? Yes, even if it sounds absurd, it happens more often than you think, and the worst part is that many people only realize it when it's too late. Imagine this: you take your car to the garage because the alternator has failed. They tell you it needs to be replaced, and you agree, trusting that they will install a new part. When you pick up your vehicle, you pay as if they had fitted a part fresh from the factory. But in reality, that alternator already had more kilometers on it than your own car. The result: recurring breakdowns, the car no longer starts, and you end up paying double for something that was never new. Some unscrupulous mechanics take advantage of the fact that many customers don't know what a new part looks like. They clean the used one, give it a coat of paint, and voila, it looks new. But this isn't just deception, it's also dangerous. There are parts that, if not in perfect condition, can compromise the safety of the vehicle and your own. How to avoid falling into this trap? Always ask to be shown the old part once it's been removed. Demand the invoice with the serial number or the packaging of the new part. Some manufacturers include codes that you can check online to confirm their authenticity. If the workshop makes excuses or refuses to give you this information, huge red flag. It's a massive warning sign. Remember, if the price seems too good to be true or if the mechanic seems too eager to make the change, they are probably not playing fair. This scam doesn't just empty your wallet, it also destroys your trust, and that's the most valuable thing in the world of mechanics. Third scam, the unnecessary brake fluid change. Get ready, because this scam is so clever that even the most experienced drivers fall for it like flies. They come up with a little test strip that looks like a medical analysis and declare, your brake fluid is contaminated, it's a deadly danger to your family. But here's the perversity. That strip will always change color, no matter how fresh your fluid is. Do you know why? Because it's designed to react with any moisture, and brake fluid naturally absorbs moisture from the air. It's like using a water detector to prove you're getting wet in the rain. The reality is that brake fluid can last up to 5 years without a problem, but they want you to change it every year, charging you up to €300. A technician from Lille revealed the most despicable secret to me. When they perform this unnecessary service, they often introduce air bubbles that can actually cause real problems with your brakes. So you come back a month later with spongy brakes and guess what? You need more repairs. Second scam, the unnecessary transmission replacement. We now come to the biggest heist in the entire automotive industry. We are talking about the scam that can cost you between €4,000 and €8,000 in a single visit. Have you ever felt your transmission slipping slightly, or taking half a second to engage? Perfect, that's exactly what they're waiting for to execute this scam. They tell you, sir, your transmission is completely failing. It's very dangerous to drive like this. But the reality is that 90% of transmission problems are solved with a simple €80 fluid change or a €100 sensor adjustment. The key is to always get a second opinion when they talk about changing the transmission. An honest diagnosis can literally save you the price of a used car. First scam, fraudulent diagnostic fees. The most ruthless scam of all, because it opens the door to all the other scams. They charge you between €100 and €200 to diagnose your problem. But here's the brutal trick. They plug in the computer for 30 seconds, print a list of codes, and invent thousands of euros in repairs based on codes that can mean hundreds of different things. A P0300 code can range from a loose spark plug at €5 to an engine problem at €3,000. But they always choose the most expensive option. Here's the secret that mechanics hate. You can buy your own OBD2 scanner on Amazon for €30 and read the codes yourself. Literally the same device they use in the workshop. The scam is to make you pay dearly for something that is free in many parts stores, then use that information to sell you unnecessary repairs. It's the perfect crime because it seems legitimate. You have just become the customer that dishonest mechanics fear the most. You now possess the knowledge to defend yourself. But I need to know something urgently. Go immediately and get your last mechanic's bill and examine it with what you've just learned. Then, comment exactly how much money you discovered you were scammed out of. I will add up all the comments and reveal the total amount of money stolen from my subscribers in the next video. Did you find a scam on your bill? Give this a thumbs up to warn other drivers. Each like represents one more person who will be saved from theft. Subscribe because next week I will reveal the names of the workshop chains with the most complaints for scams. This information could disappear quickly, so hit the notification bell. Share this video with your family and friends before they go to the mechanic. You could literally save them from losing hundreds or thousands of euros. Do you know an honest mechanic in your city? Comment their name and location to help the community. Let's create a network of trusted workshops together.